a young girl accidentally brushed against the handrail on the subway, only to find a pungent, yellow, sticky liquid on it. Thinking some inconsiderate passenger had wiped their mucus there, she simply wiped it off with a tissue, but things were far more complicated than she imagined. After getting off the subway, her nose started bleeding profusely, and she couldn't stop it no matter what she did. She rushed to the station's restroom, and soon, her palms began to fester rapidly. Before long, pockmarked spots covered her wrists and even her entire arm. Then, a mass of green plants sprouted from her palms, and as she stood there in terror, another patch of vegetation took root and sprouted on her face. As you can imagine, she transformed into a being completely covered in plants. That's the end of the first story from the Erie subway. Now let's move on to the second one. John was sound asleep on the subway when he heard a series of thudding sounds. Looking up, he saw a girl at the train door banging her head against the glass. Not only him, but an elderly man nearby also jumped in fright at the sight. The old man, clearly terrified, quickly fled the carriage, and John quietly followed him. After moving to another carriage, he locked the door on purpose and called his mother, recounting everything that had just happened from start to finish. His mother urged him to leave the place at once and then sent him a video with a caption saying the girl had already passed away. What he saw shocked him to the core. The video showed a girl banging her head against glass, and upon closer inspection, it was the very same girl he'd just encountered. If the news report was true, how could she still be here? Just as he was at a loss for what to do, the elderly man next to him suddenly started banging his head against the wall too. At that moment, the carriage lights went out. When he turned on his phone's flashlight, both the old man and the woman had vanished without a trace. As he stood there confused, the girl suddenly appeared at the carriage door and resumed banging her head against it. It turned out to be just a dream. John looked around, and once he confirmed the woman was gone, his racing heart finally calmed down. Meanwhile, the train arrived at Guanglin Station. After getting off, he couldn't stop thinking about the dream, finding it more and more ridiculous the more he dwelled on it. He hadn't walked far when he saw a no entry sign, and then the familiar thudding sounds echoed in his ears again. The girl was right behind him, banging her head against the wall. John thought to himself that he should run for it. She was still a bit far, so she probably couldn't catch up. But before he could even take a step, the girl suddenly appeared right behind him. The case involving John was ultimately left unresolved due to insufficient evidence, with no clear explanation for what transpired. Now let's check out the final short story. Lisa had just gotten cosmetic surgery at the hospital, and she was thrilled to find her new nose was just as lovely as other women's. Thanks to a sudden jolt of the train, she finally noticed a girl sitting across from her staring at her intently. Judging by the girl's appearance, she'd either just had cosmetic surgery like Lisa, or suffered some kind of facial injury. The girl's unblinking gaze made Lisa feel uncomfortable, so she quickly walked to the carriage door. To her surprise, she ran into an acquaintance there. The man was her former tutor. He told her she looked more beautiful than ever, and Lisa beamed with joy at the compliment. But the happy moment didn't last long. Unexpectedly, the tutor's girlfriend walked up at that moment, and Lisa left politely on her own. Once Lisa was out of earshot, the woman said to her boyfriend, "Your student's double eyelids are from surgery, right?" The comment made Lisa furious. As she prepared to transfer trains, she suddenly heard someone say, "Your nose is so beautiful." Turning around, she saw the strange girl from the subway. Thinking the girl was talking to her, Lisa politely said, "Thank you." But that wasn't the end of it, the girl kept repeating. "Your nose is so beautiful." The girl's outfit was terrifying, and most alarmingly, she held a cup with an unknown liquid inside. The sight sent chills down Lisa's spine, so she hurried to the next door to wait for the train. When she looked back at the girl, she was gone. Peering through the glass, Lisa saw the girl hiding behind a pillar, staring at her with a smile. Lisa thought turning her head away would keep her safe, but was things really that simple? Sure enough, the girl wasn't charging straight at her, but she was inching closer little by little. Panicked, Lisa pulled out her phone to record the scene, but something even stranger happened. The girl didn't show up on the screen at all. In the blink of an eye, the girl was right in front of her. At that moment, Lisa finally realized what was in the cup. It was sulfuric acid. She couldn't hold back her fear any longer, ignoring the stares of passers-by, and ran for her life. The scene cuts to her in a restroom. She pressed against the door with all her strength while calling the police, telling the female officer her exact location. The officer asked her to describe the features of the woman chasing her. The request seemed normal, but there was a huge red flag. How did the officer know it was a girl chasing her? The person on the phone wasn't a cop at all, it was the bandaged girl. Just as the sulfuric acid was about to be splashed, we finally saw the bandaged girl's true face. The reason she was chasing Lisa was obvious. Lisa's face and nose were more beautiful than hers. That's the end of the film. Thank you for watching.